Shane. 15 pull, going to see that 15 pull into the 15 hatch most likely. We have 18-0, yeah, undefeated. Arthur putting that down at 15 hatch himself, just a little bit different. He's going for the hatch first instead of the pool first. Shane still has not put down his pool. It's going to be a 16 hatch probably, and there you go. Or no, it's interesting. We still haven't seen it. No, there it goes. There he is. Going to go down and put that expansion down on the ground. It's going to be just wonderful. The best you could possibly see in a game of StarCraft. And there's the pool for Arthur. Finally, about 16, 17 supply. Gas goes down at the same time. Gas yet for Shane. Probably going to get that one gas for the speed. Get that 100 gas out of that extractor and then pull off his workers. From what I understand, and I'm not a Zerg expert, from what I understand, even though they weren't exactly right, not exactly right, but exactly the same, they're going to be in about the same position once all this is said and done, because this queen should come out a little bit earlier, and here it's almost done actually, halfway done. For Shane, it's going to give him that extra larva production necessary to keep up with the macro, and by that point his expansion will be up. He can start his second queen, and Shane will be able to start both his queens at the same time. So it's going to be pretty close. Shane, though, with just a very slight supply advantage, or a half a second as Arthur. It's so close. It's not the exact same builds obviously, but they're basically in the same situation. They both have their spawning pools up. They both are in a situation where they're getting their queens up and they're starting to get their macro up. But 4 lings out for Arthur first. He's going to go ahead and try to get some map control, but these lings are just going to be for scouting purposes. Not a whole lot of pressure that 4 lings by themselves are going to be able to do against these things. I'm sorry, I totally missed that. There were some lings already out for Shane. He snagged a worker kill and started to delay some mining time. Pretty nice harass, totally worth those 2 lings in one round, even if that's all he got. He may have gotten some more workers. About the same. Yeah, that workers are almost identical, so that's a nice little victory though.
Alright, I got
down.
my stream up and running, and everything is lovely, and now we can kill gas.
Absolutely.
Alright, so what do we got? Fill me in.
What's up? Hidden Kicker 93. Probably the coolest name I've seen in a while. Baliness goes down for Shane. A little bit later than Baliness for Arthur. Probably, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. They don't have a huge and exorbitant amount of lings. Probably going to be getting that for defensive banelings to try to secure their own base, try to deny any of this Zergling harass. But they're so close in terms of their situation right now. But a light supply block from Arthur, just a tiny one. Yeah, nothing really to talk about there. Just a little bit off. Banelings morphed at home. These are definitely defensive, not offensive. Baneling still not quite up yet. We're going to get that Baliness popping up with that spawning pool for Shane. They're still in the same position. I'll say this. Look at these Overlord positionings. This is very nice map awareness on the part of both of these players. Have it everywhere, and that's going to give that scouting information from Shane is going to let him know that Arthur getting his 3rd base now. And that might open up a window for a 2-base timing push for Shane to try to knock that out and do some serious economic damage to his opponent. The worker count, I believe, is pretty similar. Big Dominic, do you have anything to say, particularly at this point of the game?
Well, everybody's just kind of geared up for the macro that they're really trying to set up. Of course, they both had to drop Banelingness more for defense than anything else, honestly. Just because you can't take the risk of one person building a baneling nest and rolling in and destroying all of your drones or something without having your own banelings for defense. But the only real difference here that we're seeing is the 3rd base is already down for Arthur, whereas Shane looks like he's trying to gear up for some kind of a 2-base timing push. You can see 18 Zerglings are actually in production right now. These 2 banelings getting caught out as well.
One thing that we see here too, like Arthur still has a lot of lings out himself. They've both invested pretty heavily in these lings. Shane getting +1 range attack kind of indicates, is there a Roach Warren down already? No, there it goes. Roach Warren goes down right now.
Well.
And we have a lot of lings coming in. These Banes are going to morph right on top of them, right behind them, pardon me. And the lings are just going to try to snipe this base, and there's a Baneling right in the mix there. Oh man, that could have been so dangerous.
The dance of the Zerglings.
Detonate on these other, oh wow. Yeah, I think he should have taken out those Banelings, but that's fine though. He's going to pick off these Banelings before they finish morphing. Arthur looking pretty good, honestly. This amount of lings from Shane is just not quite enough to break it, and those couple defensive banelings that Arthur morphed in came just in the nick of time. He gets his Roachborn about the same time as, actually slightly before Shane does, and now he has a third base that he can defend on.
Right. The third base for Arthur, of course, originally. Yeah, for Shane is coming up right now. But you can see. Well, actually, I was going to say Arthur had a pretty big supply lead. It looks like Shane has managed to catch up with the flood of units. The roaches are already coming out. They're in production right now for Shane. So really, it's just going to be who makes the next big play and what direction does the tech take for both the players here.
You know, I feel like another thing that deserves mentioning is, I think we're going to sack an Overlord here from Arthur to see that Roachborn. Not going to see anything that he didn't really know already, I imagine.
Well, he sees the research on the Roachborn, so he knows that he's probably going to commit to the roaches at least a little bit.
And he sees the infestation pit, so he's going to have some idea of the hive timing there. But one thing that I would like to say is that the supply is slightly in Arthur's favor, but he has, like, you know, 8 more drones. And it's a very small difference, but that's 8 less army supply that he has to fight Shane with. And so, I guess at this point, now that their supplies are so similar, the army's going to be about the same. For a while there, initially, when that push came on the 3rd, Shane actually had just a slightly larger rate, 4 or 5 aliens being morphed in with a lot of roaches behind us. Spine's back, but there's not a whole lot of roaches here for Arthur. Can he hold this? I'm not really sure.
Of course, the banelings don't have speed, so it's kind of hard to get into this.
Oh, the drones! All the drones!
So many drones.
Survivors. Well, that's huge. That's monstrous.
The road speech for Shane here is about to finish up. He'll be able to zip right out of this base as soon as that hits. And there it goes.
And that puts Shane in a, killed 20 drones or something like that. It gives him a very command worker lead, 20 worker lead, 71 drones to 51 drones. Infestation pit, you know, not even halfway done for Arthur, but Shane, he's got it done. He's getting pathogen glands. He's gonna have the infestors out in time, in mass, and you know, in basically every matchup, but especially in BZ, these infestors are going to be key in this mid game, this mid to late game, trying to get fungals on those roaches, keep them in place, trying to get fungals on any kind of air, which we won't see at this point. But those fungals are huge for positioning.
Right. We got an overseer over here just scouting this area, trying to see what kind of saturation he's looking at, seeing if he can catch any other tech. Pathogen glands about to finish up. Arthur actually deciding to go for the Hydro Skin. As opposed to teching up to Hive or going with Spire Tech. Of course, the Infestors are in production now for Shane, so he's going to have a huge lead. And, you know, having more Infestors on the field is not also just about the numbers, but about the timing, because earlier Infestors mean they have more energy, which is more Infested Terran, and more Fungals, which is just, you know, more damage overall. Can play a big role, even if it's less Infestors.
You know, the other thing that I think is going behind this, besides this addition of the Hydralisk Den, I mean, both of them are going for such similar builds, and that's gotta at this point favor Shane, because Shane he was a little behind, but that timing push with banelings came just right at the perfect time where Arthur just couldn't defend it appropriately. Didn't have the roaches, and the banelings just snuck in behind those spine crawlers, and it's looking worse and worse for Arthur with every passing moment. Burrow almost done. More roach. His +2 attack for Shane is going to come way before Arthur's. And the fact of the matter is, even though Arthur's set to get +2 Carapace, generally speaking, it's at least from what I understand about the ZVZ matchup, that attack upgrade is going to be way more important than that armor upgrade at this stage of the game, especially roaches versus folks.
And let's see, another key factor here, of course, they're both trying to take these 4th expansions. Arthur already took a little bit of damage with a nice link play. Of course, he didn't expect to take the base out there, but he's got it set up to maybe damage it at a later time. And Arthur is going to come in here and see the 4th base for Shane as well, so he knows at this point that he's at least a little bit behind macro-wise.
You know, Shane maxed out 199 supply to 146 supply. Hydras and Infestors trying to come onto the field, but these roaches and Hydras, and they actually missed the somehow I missed the Hydra Den. So it's gonna be Roach Hydra Infestor versus Roach Hydra Infestor, and the reality is these Infestors. I mean, how many Infestors do we have for each bird?
Well, it's gonna be 3 for Shane and 5 for
7
Arthur.
Arthur actually snuck him out. Nice fungals onto these roaches. He wants it. Oh, a couple of them get caught out.
Concave much better for Shane. And it looks like the pure numbers.
Too different.
And there's
and that's, oh my god. It was that it all changed for Shane with that Banling push.
I mean, it set him 20 drones behind, and there was really nothing he could do to recover from that. In terms of, he either had to sacrifice the army and remake all the drones, which could have potentially let him, die, or he just had to try to push out as much army as possible, so he maxed out much later, leading with an A+.
It was a clean game, and it was a fun game to watch. ZBZ's not always a fun thing, honestly, but that was entertaining. I feel like it just once you're that behind in drones, I really don't know what he could have done besides try to do some major counterattack at that point in time. But he really wasn't even in a position to, so it was tough for him for sure.
I think his best bet probably would have just been to turtle and try to remake those drones as much as possible, and then hold off any kind of push. But he was just so behind that as soon as the max out army, because some people they'll wait even after they get max just because they're just a little cautious. But after that, he just went ahead and went for the push, and it was too much for him to hold off.
Absolutely.
Now, of course, the second game is going to be getting underway. And we've got Shane as the red Zerg in the top. And we've got Florencio as our orange Protoss playing at the bottom.
Florencio is, just to give us some background on him, he claims he's Bronze League. No way to tell for sure in game. 13-9 with a 59.1% win rate in these 1v1 Obs matchups. It's gonna be interesting to see, but I would have to imagine with Shane now 19-0, 19 games in a row. Look. I'm well aware that he's probably not bronze. Okay. Oh man.
Uh-oh. And Shane taking his first loss.
I'm just reading off what's there, because that's what I got to read off of, man. I got to fill all this, there's 2 or 3 minutes at the beginning of the game. Yeah,
Florencio honestly, it's just that sentry play at the very beginning. This is so powerful right here.
I think that having a sentry this early is,
with the hallucination. Florencio looking for a challenger. Uh-oh, we've got a drop on the Skype call here. And let's see what we got. Looks like we might have lost James. Call the group back.
Hey.
Yeah, we lost our...
What is this?
I don't know. We lost our Skype call. I think James hung up. He says busy, so...
Anyway.
Viewers of the stream, it's probably women.
Yep.
But yeah, Florencio versus Gunner. Gonna be TVP, one of my favorite matchups to watch, and my least favorite to play.
What do you mean? TVP's a great matchup. Of course, being Protoss. It's Colossus, man. Colossus all day.
Gonna introduce these players to the top right. We have the orange Protoss Florencio, who claims he is bronze. I'm gonna make sure I emphasize that this time. He claims he's bronze with a 59.1% win rate. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the black Gunner, who is playing Terran. He is 26-39, 40% win rate. He says he's a Grandmaster. I am sure he is. I'm sure that 100% of things, he's definitely going to be. He's definitely not Diamond and Plat, because that's why would people go on the internet and lie, Puppy Puncher?
You think people would do that?
There's no
Just
way.
Go on the internet and lie?
Yeah,
you're joke.
By the way,
I do want to say that, first of all, Puppy Puncher is our, he's kind of like our reporter. He does all the deep nitty-gritty research and fact-checking.
Here's the fact-checking. It's really important. He's like the slasher of this cast.
He wasn't going to reveal that he was bronze, and he was expecting to get the spectator revenue, and he ruined it.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's true. But Puppy Puncher... Well, why is your Twitch name Kitten Kicker? I mean, not that I'm judging. I mean, I'm not judging if you punch puppies or kick kittens, but
if you had the opportunity to kick a kitten, why would you take that? I don't know.
We're just trying to fill dead time. There's actually, hold on one second. Gunner going for a double racks before gas. Interesting play. It would seem like it would appear as if No, I was gonna see if it was gonna be a 3 racks all in, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be a 3 racks all in. Maybe some kind of 2 racks pressure play. No gas though. There's no gas behind this at all.
Look at this early expansion first, completely blind, no gateway.
No, but he has that probe in his base. He has to see everything.
Let's take a look at his vision. All right, observe Florencio.
Yeah, he has a probe in his
He
base.
knows. So he knows that it's a 2 racks play, and he still expands. I personally,
He's gonna get forged before gateway. Why? Okay, this whole thing is just confusing me very greatly.
well, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, ballsy is an interesting way to phrase it. It's weird. It's weird for me to see a massive supply block. Oh my god.
For both players. That's going to set Gunner's 2 base behind by quite a good deal.
The balls.
They're literally...
Photon cannon before gateway. This is
a pretty standard play for an economic advantage over a 2 raxing.
We'll see 3 or 4 more photon cannons, and all on this one pylon. God, Gunner has a supply lead. I mean, Gunner's a supply lead. He has 3 Marines, and he's got 1, 2, 3. 3 more barracks.
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and take this to a 5 racks, 1 base. Of course, he can produce off of that.
It's an all-in. It's an all-in, and there's actually a 7 racks all-in if I recall correctly, but I've never seen
the 6. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we may be learning about something new.
But he's not producing any more Marines. It's quite interesting to see that there's no more Marines on the way. We have more pylons. We have 2 more pylons. I was totally joking before, but that's what we're going to see. These pylons are going to be integral to Florencio's defense. 22 supply to 21 supply. You know, Florencio's going to have more workers. He has that extra base, but that's not going to kick in for just a little bit. And once he starts making these Marines, he's going to have a pretty sizable force if he ever starts building on these new barracks.
Now, what's going to be interesting is if somehow this rather ballsy play by Florencio is going to pay off, then he'll have a massive lead. You know, but I honestly, I'm not sure.
Oh my god, he's going to push out with 5 Marines. 5 Marines isn't going to do dick against this amount of cannons.
No, he will literally. There's just, I don't know.
I don't know, like, even if he keeps all of this production up, and you notice that, like, he can kind of keep it up. He's producing 6 Marines at a time, most of the time. Actually, he's just sitting there. Yeah, gotta keep making those Marines. But I don't know. It's gonna take a relatively sizable amount of Marines. But the delay on that gateway, he doesn't. Where's his cyber? Because he doesn't have a cyber yet.
It's currently in production. It's in his name. Now, a couple more photon cannons are going to be dropped. But the question is it a little too late, or will it be just enough to hold this off? We've got quite a few Marines moving out, but if he moves these in early.
This is not enough Marines to break this.
There's no way. He has to wait for the rest of his Marines if he moves these in 3 at a time or 5 at a time.
No. Oh, man. Actually, Florencio is threatened enough to pull back some probes for a small amount of time. Very interesting.
Right. And you can see
Marines. I feel like what Gunner needs to do, Gunner needs to pull all of his SCVs, and he could just win the game. Because he could SCVs tank the damage from the cannons.
And then just kill pylons.
Oh yeah, and then what are we gonna have? We're gonna have 1 stock? No way, no way. Joe, that's nasty, by the way.
Sorry. You know. And we got a 3rd pylon here just to make sure that it doesn't fall down. Getting an idea for how many Marines are about to ruin his day. Another cannon dropping as well.
Pylons. I mean, honestly, the damage might be done just from the pylons. If he went back home, he might be able to catch up. Oh my god, he's gonna go in. Oh my god, he does not have enough. There's not enough here.
Massive losses. Taking a look at the units lost tab, you can see about 50 supplies in the lead here for Florencio. Of course, that's not quite indicative of a win or a loss, but I just don't think he's going to be able to break all the cannons that he's got here.
I feel like honestly, well, the harvesters are so lopsided now. Like, he needs to do something. He's so far behind, and it's not like he's gone back home and checked it all. He's going to put down a base. He's saving up his minerals for this base. It's too little, too late. I feel like he already has all these Marines, and he can't be aggressive with them. If he wanted a macro, he should have done it a long time ago, and he brings all of his Marines up to the bottom right corner of
the
map.
For ninja expansions, maybe?
I guess. I don't really know.
That's the only thing I can think of. Now, we do see the robotics bay is completed and the robotics facility, or excuse me, the robotics facility is completed. The robotics bay is in production. A good scan is going to catch all of that information, so he knows that Colossus are imminent and that he needs to do something about it. That is why we see the tech labs dropping. Those will no doubt be getting him caught up on tech and Marauders.
And pretty soon we're going to see the GG. I mean, honestly, at this point,
immediately after that, GG.
I mean, I'm not. This is not really a standard game, so it's difficult to analyze, you know. But even with as much analysis as I'm able to do, it's just very little. But the reality is that even with this huge investment of all of these photon cannons, his economy should be in the long term just so much monstrously better, and the tech should be so far ahead that Florencio could just kind of A-move and win in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Because if one Colossus, even with that extended thermal lance, will just rip through all of this, that has even a few gateway units supporting it.
Right, now we can see he's got all tech labs on every single one of these barracks, so he has no intention of building anything other than Marauders, probably for the rest of the game. And it will actually, are we not seeing any combat shields? Like, all of these Marines will just melt.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can look at the resource Thank you. I did not actually know that.
Resource.
Yeah, you can look at resource collection rate with Alt-I.
Alt-I. Well, that is a cool little graphic.
Yeah, and you can look at EPM with Alt-V. Units killed. Supply. Yeah, okay, and look, Army supply is way in the lead for Gunner. Not really relevant at all, because it's 41 workers to 27 workers, and this observer sees everything. We have this Colossus out already. Extended thermal lance is almost finished. There's nothing to do. You know, with this much. Now look at the mineral rate. It's not like it's so like it's only 200, 300. It's pretty sizable over the course of time. But it's that and the Vespine and the fact that he has more workers and the fact that he's had this expansion longer. So this main is going to mine out a little faster because of Buell's and because of the fact that this is all it's been mining on for some time now. So that's gonna.
Puppy Puncher has already figured it out. Colossus versus Marines. It's going to be the #1 problem here.
Oh yeah, it's that tech war that he lost because he did no damage. The only way that this works is if somehow he manages to suicide all the Colossus Colossus, but we have no factory. There's not a single factory, so we're not going to see Vikings at all. We don't see any starport. Pardon me. We don't see any Vikings, and we're also not going to see medevacs. And I believe Stim is done, and that's great and all, but if he stims, there's no way, no medevacs to heal, there's no way he can disengage. If he stims, it's a commitment to the battle. If he stims and pulls back, it's going to be really dangerous to stim again. He gets a scan and catches the observer, and that's kind of nice, and his army supply, I believe, is a little higher, but I just don't think it'll matter. Right. I think the Puppy Puncher had it exactly right. 73 supply to, army supply to 44 army supply just doesn't matter that much once you have 3-4 Colossus, and he has
high tempo as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Storm is being researched. He could just turn those into Archons and move forward. Trying to keep these Colossus out of range of those scans is a pretty good play, keeping them in the back of space. Kind of just makes him uneasy, and Gunner is just going to go for it. He doesn't have a choice.
Gunner going to run up. These Marauders will tank these photon cannons pretty well, but this is a... If Defender's advantage was ever true, this is that scenario. Now imagine this scenario. He's going to be right here. Colossus just stand right here on the high ground. They'll never be able to shoot him. Never, ever. Because they're going to have to run up and get in front of all these cannons, and then they've already taken 3, 4, 5 shots from the Colossus.
Here comes the Stim.
What he's going to do, though, the Colossus is pelting everything. There's the Stim. He's committed now. One Colossus is not really shooting anything, but it doesn't matter. Oh, my God.
The damage here.
They're going to take a lot of damage, but it's not enough. It's just simply not enough. Colossus on the high ground. They have no way to shoot these Colossus, even if they want to. Pulls probes anyway. Supply plummets for Gunner, and that's GG. There's nothing that the Gunner can do from this point. And I hate to call a game early because, obviously if Florencio had attacked his own army maybe there, he attacks every one of his Colossus with the Stalkers and kills all of them, and then
maybe destroys all of his drones at one base.
Oh yes, and then we're talking a big change. But the worker count is what, 41 to 35. It's not actually that drastic, but the fact of the matter is that the army and tech supply, or the army and the tech of Florencio is so much higher. Yes, that's probably when I was in Gold League and even in Platinum, that's the story of my life. Oh my god, it's okay.
Florencio gonna go ahead and kick it into high gear, dropping down another what looks like 6 gateways, excuse me. And
you can support all of that production. I'll say that.
well, if you transition into Zealot Archon, there's a lot of crazy things you can do.
What's that?
Your stream just went offline.
Oh, did it?
Yep.
Can we get a confirmation of that from someone else? Shock this, maybe?
Well, if the stream is offline, they can't hear us.
But I'm still. Let's see.
I'm just gonna refresh it.
I will keep casting the game because it's still live. We've got the Warp Prism here ready to reinforce. We've got, of course, another wave of Stalkers or so. And Vikings are on the field, so Gunner has managed to take up at least the Vikings, but there's only 4 of them, and there's a huge wave of Stalkers ready to, about 20 Stalkers on the field, and High Templars. I don't think he's going to have the tech required, and he's just going to roll in here and win. I don't even think he needs to micro. He's got the Storms ready to. This is going to be a very, very one-sided engagement. There's the first Storm. There's the stem. No medevac. Storms everywhere, covering the entire army. Colossus doing all the damage. No units hardly remain. Gunner supplies dropping all the Vikings, and there's the GG. So for that game, Florencio showing us how bronze players do it. Got a little crown over his head, and his Sentry comes out ready to play and hallucinate more Phoenix to attack Zerglings. Now, how's your stream doing? You got a refresh?
Yeah, I got it back up.
Stream's down for Mendo, says Shockfist. He is working on pulling that back up, Shock.
There we go. There we go.
It still says it's offline. I'll refresh.
I think it's on your end, man.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You might just need to refresh.
There we go.
Yeah, that is totally you, bro.
That might have been you the entire time.
My bad.
Maybe missed the end of that game, bro.
Put it down.
Sorry.
And this is why, I don't know, I had something clever, and I lost it.
No, this is why, Joe. Just leave this up to us.
Of course,
Sorry.
Puppy Puncher is up and ready to go.
Puppy Puncher, the pro player.
I heard he's
Like that shit.
in Masters, if I'm not mistaken.
I actually don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he is. He'd be pretty sweet though. Look at that probe split. SCVs, whatever they're called.
I'll
have
the
fun.
purpose.
And let me get my Blizzard Observer UI up.
Florencio is now with a 60.9% win rate. Puppy Puncher with a total of 25 games played, 24% win rate, has won 6 of that 25 game span. Going to see a TVP yet again, and I believe this is not the same group, right? Puppy Puncher did not just blow away.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
Puppy Puncher was observing with us, hanging out in the stream.
And actually, I'm curious. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still listening, but I'm just gonna keep talking because if you want to stream type an Obs game, that ain't none of my business, bro.
You should just feel bad.
Pylon going down in Puppy Puncher's base in the back. Gonna have some proxy gateway played right in the corner. A really nice play. It's going to be very, very exciting to see if he gets to scout that. Because if he doesn't actually get to it, it's in the top, like that top left corner and then the top right corner. Really going to be interesting to see whether he scouts any of that. Because right now the buildings just are too far away, and it was really impressive to see that.
If he doesn't take an SCV out there, I mean, he could lose. I mean, the Forge is already in production. It's about halfway done now. He dropped it at 12 supply. And Puppy Puncher doesn't really seem to be reacting at all. I mean, I know it's not very common to cannon rush against Terran, but of course it's still a viable build. Who was it?
But what he's gonna do, he's gonna cannon rush this base, and then he's going to force him to that natural, and then he's gonna actually lock him into the natural, and then build the pylon under that thing. So he'll have to use the SCVs to kill it. You know what I'm saying? Like build a pylon and actually really a big play. Florencio.
Florencio actually going to go ahead and expand at his natural, just to kind of get that economic advantage after the cannon rush finishes up. It still hasn't been scouted. It's just right there in that top left. First cannon is already coming down. And Puppy Puncher just seems completely oblivious. It's going to be pretty eye-opening as soon as that cannon starts shooting down SCVs.
Oil command from Puppy Puncher, gonna dance a Marine about. There's the pile.
And at this
There's
point,
the probe
Puppy Puncher
revealing everything that we've said that was just lies, nothing but lies.
completely untrue. Everything.
But that being said, like even if Puppy Puncher was listening, I don't know that it's really believable that at like the 2-second mark, the probe is in your base. But it's fun. It's fun to joke anyway.
I had a good time. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
SCV sees everything in the base. 3 pylons and a gateway and an assimilator. I'm surprised that we don't see Fluency going for his 1 million cannon build.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was a classic build that could have been picked up. I mean, it's solid build timing on there. I would be surprised to see it in some programs in the future once they see our cast of it. You know, pros stop by our streams all the time, pick up new builds that we see in Ops games.
yeah, because you gotta get that. And Bum is online from yesterday. Hell yeah.
Tell them to come on in.
Oh yeah. Give me a second.
And we'll keep on casting. We got 3 gateways and the cyber coming out. So kind of an interesting timing here with that 3rd gateway. A lot of times that building is normally tech as opposed to just a 3rd gateway. So he might be going with some kind of like delayed 3-gate push. Because Puppy Puncher still hasn't taken that expansion, and he's taking it on the high ground as opposed to the low ground. But I believe it was scouted. Let me go ahead and check Florencio's. Yeah, it was scouted by Florencio, so he knows it's there. 3rd barracks coming up for Puppy Puncher.
The big thing for me is that this expansion is really going to be the game changer because, you know, right now we're not seeing any kind of a real map presence from anybody except for Florencio, who just has that probe on that Zelnaga watchtower.
Right.
And the fact that Puppy Puncher doesn't know what's going on is going to play a big role in this because even though, I mean, he's got mules, but even if we count the mules, his economy is just not going to be as strong. And actually, I'm going to pull that up right now because I was told how to do that by Puppy Puncher himself.
13 is the number of pros higher than Puppy Puncher.
It's giving him like 500 minerals every minute. Yeah, 400, 500 more minerals per minute, and that's just huge. It's so much stuff, and he's spending it. Look at his money. It's all going to everything. Robotics Bay going down. The Colossus is going to be murderous. There's nothing. There's like once this Colossus comes out, the Colossus could almost push by itself, and it wouldn't even matter.
And on Puppy Puncher, I'm going to go ahead and bet all my money on Florencio because I want cool decals, but there's no tech in this base. He's got, you know, well, he just spent all of his money on an expansion, which isn't a bad play. If somehow he's able to hold off for maybe another 5 or 6 minutes, he'll be able to use that. But with no tech, there's no factory, there's no Viking. As soon as these Colossus come out, Robotics Bay just now finishing, there's not going to be a response from Puppy Puncher.
Like right now.
Doing a little bit now. Looks like he's posturing up to take his own natural expansion. Florencio is, of course.
Yeah, Observer gonna see everything in Puppy Puncher's base, which is not a whole lot. I wonder if that's enough impetus for him to give him an attack.
Well, he's got
enough reason to give him an impetus to attack.
Right. I mean, he's got what 5, 6 minutes.
Oh god, a warp gate has been researched.
Well, that is rather interesting.
There is no warp gate. It's not even being reached. It's got to be a mistake. He's got to.
There it goes. It was a complete mistake. That is probably one of the worst feelings. It's just like the game you played the other day when all of a sudden there was no sim, and you needed it. So this push is now going to be massively delayed. We're going to see a lot of chrono boost being blasted into that cybernetics core to get that out as soon as possible. Extended thermal lance also on the way. And these gateways are just going to have to continue producing units the old-fashioned way.
Well, the thing is that even if Florencio has to wait a few more minutes, we still there's the Star Force. He will probably have Vikings, but the question is, will he build the Medivacs first or the Vikings first? Because I feel like it'd be a better move to build the Vikings. Because
well, keep in mind, Puppy Puncher did get a good scan in, and he saw the Colossus Bay, the Colossus Tech in production, so he knows that Colossus are an imminent threat. I would not be surprised to see 2 Vikings be the first thing that he produces out of there.
You know, the fact that Puppy Puncher got his 3rd up faster and is mining out of it already is going to be a pretty big deal too, because you know Florencio's enjoyed a relatively significant economically this entire game, but the expansion is a little bit later for him, and that's going to make a difference because if this can be an orbital. I'm not sure if it's going to be an orbital or planetary quite yet, but that orbital is going to give him a huge he's going to bring him back in the economic game. I don't want to sound like it's putting him ahead, but it's definitely going to catch him back up. And honestly, his army it's pretty paltry right now, but given it left on its own and without supply blocks. Like he has right now. This could be a pretty good force. He's gonna go medevac and Viking simultaneously. It's not a bad move. I feel like generally you want to have three Vikings per Colossus, and if he only has 2, he's just not gonna have enough.
Right.
Oh God.
The flood of gateways going to Olympia, similar to the last game. Of course, they finally warped it. He's probably about ready to try to make this push. Honestly, he's losing his window of opportunity. The 3-base Terran will begin to slowly catch up. You can see the supplies have quickly begun to even out, with Florencio having a huge supply lead a little bit earlier in the game by about 20, and now they're starting to even out just because that Terran production is starting to kick in. And this natural for Florencio being so much later than in the 3rd base for Puppy Puncher. Observer's going to go ahead and catch a glimpse of this 3rd base as well. And at this point, he probably knows that he needs to make that move. He's got to get High Templar and Storm, so his tech will be very strong for this push. It will, if he can get some good Storms, I think he'll still be able to take this game.
I think it's network problems at the school actually, because even though I'm getting internet, like it's coming in and out. My connection to the server.
It's very strange.
It should be back up now.
It is.
Apologize for the technical difficulties. I actually have no idea what's going on, but I'll investigate in the coming days. Not the first. This is actually the first time I've seen this kind of dropping. So it's kind of odd, very odd. In any case, the situation report as it stands now is pretty strong for Florencio still because he had that tech lead. What are the upgrades looking like? 0-0 for the Terran and 0-0 for the Protoss. Just no upgrades. Upgrades are overrated. We don't need them.
They're upgrades
expensive.
if you have more Colossus.
Exactly. It is really important to have those Colossus.
And more gateways, of course, in production for Florencio. That is something he's very good about, is keeping a large number of gateways for being able to spend all those minerals. This is something you'll commonly see in the lower leagues, is you'll make a big push and then just not have the gateways to spend the money that you collect during the attack.
We have a very special guest for you tonight.
Army supply is 1 in favor of Puppy Puncher. Now it's actually a little bit bigger. Because we have that huge swell of units. You know, how many Vikings do we have on the field? We have 4 with this ball. I don't know. Is 4 enough? This is 2. And is there any answer to the High Templar? I don't think there's even a single ghost.
There's not a single ghost that I can see on my screen. I don't even think a ghost academy is in production anywhere. This 3rd base is about to become under attack, and honestly, he's gonna have to abandon this base. There's no way he's gonna be able to save it.
He's completely out of position. He's got to see this attack coming. He's got to see it. No, he doesn't see it. And the Stalkers come in. Army has to move immediately, but they're not. The Army's not moving. All the SCVs going to die. They're not. Now the Army's.
In the front.
On the Storm. Aggressive Army.
Oh, that was disgusting.
Terrible.
There's a pile of dead, and Puppy Puncher has nothing left. We've got 5 Marines and a couple of Marauders. They're going to be the only thing to hold off this army. Huge supply advantage for Florencio going into this, and I just don't think there's going to be much he can do. Toss GG.
Oh man. That's rough for Puppy Puncher. Fun game to watch, if only for the massive lulls at the beginning on our end with the non-cannon rush. We have a person who is outside of this game.
Man, I should have sniped. I do say, Florencio, that your style is rather odd. However, it's entertaining to watch. I liked the Ninja expand. I wasn't sure if it was going to pay off, but you managed to hold it in. Shockfist, of course, getting a little piece of the action here. I do believe, yes, he will end up playing Florencio.
We're going to back out and pick up We're gonna back out and
Yeah, get out of here, shot. We're gonna play some
we're
different
gonna
ones.
get out of here and we're gonna catch tell Florencio Bono. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna mention that Florencio. I don't know if you maybe this Obs community has a bunch of people. And by the way, what's up, Bum, on the stream?
Well, keep in mind, Bum's got like 1,200 games in Obs, if I'm not mistaken. Also, Bum, my stream is up as well, so if you want to hop over and see It's All You Play, you're good, man. I mean, you played some good games. Let's see.
We're gonna jump on another Obs game real quick.
So if you want to check out my stream, I'll type it over here. Which is just, of course, twitch.tv/McDominate. We're going to be casting what we see. You'll get the same audio, different music. If you prefer a little bit more rock, metal, dubstep, I mean, it's whatever. And I do have slightly better graphics because I spend money.
Later, Shock. By the way,
Did I not get that invite? That was a party invite. Okay. When I play, I'll turn off the stream. See that, my friends? Sign of a good person. Alright.
The stream should be up here. Well, I'm gonna check myself. Yeah, it's up. It's up.
Oh.
Okay, there you go. Okay, cool. So, give me 1 second. Okay. We got Puppy Puncher still in here. Puppy Puncher, we're gonna join another Obs game. So if you join one, they'll probably end up in ours. If not, you're welcome to watch through here. It was a fun game to see. We have Shock Fist. We have everything here. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can get Bum in this as well.
I've probably got time for like one more of these.
That's fine. I'm not gonna do it for too terribly long. Yeah, it should be up. Cool.
Alright, Shock says he's coming in. Yeah, we got it.
Ready up, guys. Ready up. Because we want to get in the same one as Bum. We're gonna invite him to. Oh wow, we're the host. Cool. That's really convenient actually. Invite.
Get Florencio in here if he's playing again. I'd like to see Florencio versus Bum. That'd be a good game.
Oh, we got Florencio coming up in here. We got Bum up in here. We're gonna change. Let's see.
Bum's got that 1v1 diamond, but no games played this season. You have 2,100 games played total? Woo.
Florencio and Bum, man, y'all, you must play all the time on Obs and see each other. We got Monster in the lobby. We have Andrew in the lobby. Is there anybody else who is going to be playing? I don't think anybody else is available to be playing. We're gonna wait. There's Puppy Puncher again. There's Taco.
Got a full crew of guys in here.
It's gonna be fun stuff.
Taco, of course, is on the menu for Puppy Puncher. And we're gonna have some more games. We're gonna do some
Gonna load it to Peep Mode Daybreak. Gonna cast some games. We got Bum here. We got Florencia here. I'm pretty sure I just butchered that name. I apologize, but I'm just terrible. I'm a terrible human being. I can't help it.
And you should feel bad.
So the one thing that I'm afraid of is that nobody will play because I think that like the game is taken up by at least two people who aren't going to be playing any games. Me and McDominate, because we both want to be in the observer function so we can commentate efficiently and appropriately. So bear with us here.
Let's see what we got. Our initializing Bum is ready to go. Just changing. Alright, we got some guys.
Andrew, we got people playing all over the place. Shockfist, Florencio, Bum, Monster, Andrew, all ready to play. Who's going to play? We got 3 Zergs, a Protoss, and a Terran, so likely going to be some kind of ZVZ, but we shall see here in a moment.
Monster Florencio is gonna be the matchup that we see today.
Absolutely, and we've not seen Monster play. We just saw Florencio play a fun game at the very least. I asked that if you are watching on the stream and you're playing, go ahead and mute that.
Just mute the audio. We'd appreciate it because we want to see some good games. And we've got
games as if nobody else is nobody who's in the game is listening. So just bear with us. Monster is a master player. I appreciate the background. Andrew has left the game because he is a jerk and doesn't want to have fun. Okay, look at
everything about fun.
Look at the top print shit, man. This is crazy.
Hey, look at these stats, man.
Oh, stats, right. 800. Oh my God, 1,000 games more than 1,000 games. 821 wins, 285 losses from Monster.
And that is a hell of a win rate of 74.2. Florencio bringing up the rear with 15 wins and 9 losses. Not quite the same caliber of numbers there, but we did see earlier that Florencio is a Diamond League player, so we can still expect to see a good game here.
Very interesting to see. I bet that Monster's gotten all those wins because he plays Zerg.
Oh my God! You figured it out. You figured out how to win StarCraft too.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm Terrence. I'm just gonna QQ all the time.
I'm Protoss, so I also hate
Protoss OP.
Oh man.
But hey,
Zergs do this thing. Zergs do this thing where they grow giant pink claw decals at the ramp, and if you walk over it, you die.
Look at this! Look at this Zergling head thing at the mouth of this, at the mouth of the natural.
It's insane.
Crazy. Okay, so
that was the biggest misclick I've ever seen from Monster. I don't know if you caught it, but he accidentally pulled every single one of his probes off the mineral line.
Tail end. Spawning pool is halfway done. We have no expand yet. Probably going to see an expand here in a second. A drone goes out to scout. A drone goes over to try to expand. This is not a Forge Fast expand though. And this is Nexus first on the low ground. The spawning pool will be up very shortly. I think that he'll actually. I don't know.
I believe they'll still be. Yeah, there's the Forge. I was gonna say, this is something that has been becoming popular with the higher level players, where you build the Forge on the inside of your main, so that if worse comes to worse and he does something like a 6 pool or an 8 pool, you can just cancel your natural and build your cannons immediately on the inside of your base, so that you'll still have an economic advantage because you won't lose all your drones. Right.
Just a side note, because of I guess because of some harass, or just because he's going to end up doing 3 hatch before gas anyway. We saw the first base go down at the 3rd location, and the natural is going up now for Monster. There's the rest of that Forge Fast expand. Interesting, I haven't seen that before, just mainly because I never see PVZ. Because I'm a Terran player.
Right. I typically still do the Forge on the low ground, simply because I'm just not used to the placement of the buildings.
I think this cannon doesn't cover this entire natural area.
It's more just to cover the ramp, actually. Just to watch the Zerg run by. And he can always close those wall off and make it to where that choke is covered by, which we'll see here as soon as this gateway finishes. Of course, the gas is finishing up as well. I'm sure he'll be saturating those shortly. And there he goes with 2 apiece. Maybe pushing that up to 3 in a moment. And the tech choices for these 2 guys are going to be coming out soon. The 4th hatchery already dropping down for Monster right there at the middle.
Triple, yeah. We've got that drone transferred to that 3rd location. The Cybernetic core makes it, I believe, is that a tight wall off? I believe it's completely tight, almost.
No,
that far right side, is that open?
Yeah, the gateway, not the gateway, the Cybernetic core to the pylon has a cell or 2 that is actually open there.
Okay.
So he will be able to squeeze Zealot in there.
There we go. Now, that's interesting. It's interesting to me. Because an Immortal won't be able to get out of that.
I don't believe so. I don't think it is actually wide enough. We've got the 3rd assimilator dropping down. 4.
Plus 1 on the way.
And so far we're looking to, he's gearing up for either some kind of, probably I don't know, it's hard to say with that third gas. We're just gonna have to see if that robo drops. It looks like he's in position.
Yeah, robo drops.
The robotics. So, would not be surprised to see an Immortal Century all-in push here. Extremely strong build, of course, if you keep up with the pro scene. Parting does it every single time against Zerg, just about, and wins just about every single game.
Out of the Zerg player, we got our Evo chamber dropping now. Gases dropping now. These are the first gases of the game for our Zerg player. Gases, it's gonna be a total of 4 gases. One at the third location, one at the natural location, and then 2 in the main base. He's gonna go ahead and saturate that. Start getting some higher tech things on the way because he is making bukus of cash, and it shows in the supply, making a lot more money. But with what we're going to see with this potential Immortal Sentry all in coming, I don't know that having that much extra money is going to matter that much. The one question I do have, and this is going to be a really, really basic question. I don't play Protoss, so it's hard for me to justify asking these questions. But with these Immortals, I mean, you have to kill that pylon. Is that is it worth it to make it that tight, knowing that you have to kill that off later on and make up that extra 100 minerals in that pylon?
It won't matter quite so much in the long run, but it is kind of a big deal. I mean, you do lose, that 100 minerals is definitely not free money. Something interesting that I noticed, Florencio actually built 2 gateways and canceled one almost immediately afterwards. I think he was trying to squeeze out the money before another Immortal. Now he's catching up with the rest of his gateways. These Immortals coming out, moving directly to the back of his base, trying to hide this, and here is the first Overlord Scout for Monster.
Oh,
he's going to catch the majority of this.
Yeah, there's no way you can stop it. I don't even think the Stalker can get through that hole. So there's not anything. This is going to float right on into the base. He's going to see everything. He gets a full sight on that Robo, and he's going to know just from looking at it that there's going to be some kind of Immortal Sentry all-in coming soon, or at the very minimum, a massive aggression. But he's got to know. There's nothing else that could go on.
He understands the game. Now, of course, you can see all of these Zerglings were produced by Florencio. Excuse me, by Monster. Florencio
really impressive.
Went ahead and tech switched to Zerglings, something that's coming out in the heart of the Swarm beta. And it's not actually happening, but these Zerglings are going to go ahead and, well, it looks like they wanted to poke up and decided against it. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like this Immortal Sentry push is plenty. And
I feel like it's also not at full strength. There's only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentries with this. He's going to have his Warp Prism out, but I feel like there should be more sentries, honestly.
I believe the standard push is 7 sentries, 2 Immortals, and it hits right about the 9-minute mark. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a big fan of the Sentry Immortal all-in, simply because the
look at
diamonds.
That highly defensive play from Florencio. You're going to throw that Proton Cannon down, and he's going to... Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. He just wanted to shift his base. I totally thought it was going to be different. Now he's going to see these Zerglings. These Zerglings can actually run up and do a little bit of damage on these. This is just sentries.
And this is a good play by Monster. Oh, it's really getting caught.
He's going to go in.
That was a lot of force fields to use just for a few Zerglings. Going ahead and warping in some units here. It's going to be some Zealots. But honestly, there's going to be a flood of Roaches as soon as this push starts making its way out. Actually, there's Fire Tech as well. 13 mutas in production. That will shut this push down in a heartbeat.
And there's just not enough anti-air. The Immortals obviously can't just bend back a little bit to shoot in the air. They're stuck.
Great Zergling run by is going to be pushing this wall down now. Florencio does not have a wall in. He's going to have to bring his units back
No, he's going to go right into the main. He's going to go right into the main, when some of them go right into the natural expansion mineral line. And
those
now
ones are going to be
push the Immortal Sentry pushes them down to the natural ramp. They're going to be stuck on that ramp, but I just don't feel like they have enough anti-air. There's only there's a few Stalkers. Maybe they do.
Nah, not a chance.
Oh, they don't. And then War Prism goes down. Big deal. No way to reinforce. No proxy pylon. Zerglings in the main. No mining going on at the main base. Naturally, the only form of income. But this is a lot of Immortals, a lot of sentries. But I just feel like it's just not.
It's so disgusting to look at, and Taco simply couldn't take it anymore. His shell was breaking. His meat was spilling out, and he's like...
Oh, it was totally disgusting. All the sentries have used all of their force fields. There's not a single force field left, and the Immortals are left to their own devices, and that's going to be...
Florencio with some great manners. Give him the happy eyes, the well played, the ouch from Shockfist, the GG for Monster. Yeah, Florencio, that is actually the reason why I'm not a big fan at the Fortress Fast expansion, or excuse me, not a big fan of the Immortal Sentry all-in. Exactly what Monster said here, it was kind of late. It's such a tight build, like you cannot miss your gas timings, you cannot miss your drone timings, or your probe timings. or it will come too late and the Zerg, assuming that you haven't put any pressure on beforehand, will just have enough units to stop it. That's why I personally am a big fan of a 6 or 7 gate, 2-gate all-in push that hits about a minute earlier than the standard 4 fast expand, which takes a lot of Zerg by surprise.
Yeah, and you know, that all being said, it was a fun game to watch. And again, we get these huge giant fucking paw prints and smiley faces and shit. So that's fun.
A little bit of strangeness, but that's fine. Shockfist gonna be over here rooting for Bum.
Always odd to see Shockfist rooting for a Zerg player. Well, that's some good shit. Got Bum versus Monster. We've seen Bum in the past with about 200 or so, 200, 300 less games than Monster, but obviously both very talented players. Interested to see their ZVZ builds. Obviously, so far it's pretty similar. Aurora comes out a little bit later for Monster, but I feel like that was actually a mistake. I feel like that wasn't supposed to happen like that. But
yeah, well, he did the extractor trick. And there's the 3, so yeah, I don't know.
There we go.
Can you root for neutral supply depots? Shockfist, you can do whatever your heart desires. All you need is a drone and a drain.
Bum with a 12 full. Sorry, I was tying my shoes, so I couldn't really move down. It's not going to change a whole lot, but I feel like that delays his natural expansion.
Well, just a bit, but Monster is also opting for an earlier spawning pool as opposed to an half first and the early extractor. So
the early extractor, that extractor catches me off guard because the spawning pool is still at an okay time to get that natural down.
Well,
but
he's just gonna mine up to 100 gas and then get that early speed. It's a good play if you want to be aggressive. It'll probably be a 2-base play.
Their expansions come at the exact same time, but you can look actually if you look at the numbers, obviously because Monster's trying to get some gas in, and he's going to get the gas in, his mineral income is going to suffer for it. I wonder. The speed is gonna be coming pretty soon. How many Zerglings is he gonna have though to utilize that early speed? I'm really curious.
Well, the idea here, I believe, once again, I'm not a Zerg player, so I don't know all the answers, but I think it's going to be an aggressive 2-base play, and then if Monster plays with a 3-base, he won't have enough Zerglings to really hold it. I don't know if it's going to win the game. I think it's more for that early aggression to catch Bum off guard, deny the third, expand behind it, and then go into the mid-game with a large advantage.
All that being said, I feel like right now, you can look at the income rate. Bum and Monster almost the exact same amount of income. Monster with just a slight 100 minerals per minute advantage. Tech advantage is going to go straight to Monster though, because he's really rushed this Zergling speed out.
And there's the early baneling nest as well.
Yeah, it's gonna hit, and I think we saw something similar to this earlier today, where a nice baneling push on a natural base or a third base really did a lot of damage. So we're gonna have to see if Bum tries to get any more greedy than this without trying to back it up with some. Honestly, Roach would be nice, but there's no way he can. No, he's got to get some kind of scout in.
Right,
maybe
this overloaded position, but it honestly, he'll try. Even if he tries to move it in, what's he gonna see? All he sees is the spawning pool. I don't think he'll make it to the baneling nest, and he won't even know the Zergling research is done yet. Well, I guess the scout sees here.
Well, the minute he's got and there's the speed increases while they're watching him, and there's 18 lings in production by Monster. This is gonna be a nice timing push. What do we have for Bum? We have one Spine Crawler and Baneling Nest. That's not going to finish in time. I don't feel like.
Now these Banelings are at the Watchtower. Bum he's going to skirt right by. Well, it's in view. He's got the observer over there, so he knows what's happening. 4
Banelings. He feels like he's pretty safe. I think he builds a second Spine Crawler because he's a little nervous. Now it should be said that if Monster doesn't do damage with this, like if he does 0 damage with this, he's not going to be in a good spot at all. And Bum trying to fill those spots in the wall with queens, and it's not quite tight. They get the full surround and transfuse. No transfuses. Banelings hit on a lot of lings, but it's going to depend. It's a lot of lings in the main. how many will they get? How many drones will they get? Because there's now going to be Banelings at that ramp. They're going to be stuck in the base. I don't know. It's a lot of damage, though. It's a lot of damage. Morlings, there's not going to be Macring behind this. This is going to be all or nothing for Monster, at least for the moment. I'm not going to say it's an all-in. It's not an all-in.
I think we've got an interesting statement by Shockfist. Zerg is, of course, OP. As is obvious from this game, the Zerg is transferring back over to the main.
Look at this, 16 more lings behind this, more Banelings behind this, being morphed defensively. He's going to keep a small force at home and try to do some more run-by action. That can be pretty successful, actually. Well, he's got 2 Banelings, so these Banelings actually can do a lot of damage. These are without carapace, so one Baneling hit is going to take out a whole slew of Marines, and there goes Baneling hits on the throne line. They need to get away. The Banelings are almost on top of them. And
those Baneling hits were pretty good for Bum, but those drones taking a good hold by Bum. But the state of the game is going to still be very, very volatile.
You know, I feel like...
Wow, did you see that? There was actually a great Baneling hit by Bum in Monster's drone line. Take a look at the units.
Oh man, that's crazy.
He's evened it right on up, even after all that damage was done.
That's incredible, because you know, but Bum is still definitely behind. I feel like he's not stabilized, and he needs to counterattack or something. Because he's
that
behind.
was a good play with the drones. He's got some Zerglings near his base, but he's got to defend his own at the same time. Defensive Banelings and Zerglings in place at Monster's base as well. And we may stabilize here and go into a mid game.
Yeah, but I feel like in the mid game right now, I don't know. There's an 8 Harvester lead for Monster, and that's going to be big. This is a mirror matchup, and they're teching pretty similarly. But we see that the Roach one's coming down for Bum. And let's see, does he have? I think he has layer, right? No, he has no layer tech, and we already have layer for Monster. Monster can tech right on up to some higher tier units. Like we're gonna see it pretty soon, I would imagine. Some kind of extra tech choice or some kind of extra upgrades.
Another run by here. Actually gonna be able to catch a couple of these drones off guard. More drone losses for Bum. The rest of these Zerglings probably won't be able to pick up too much. There is the Baneling hit. So here's what's going to be interesting. We've got the Monster is actually droning up very hard right now. No tech, even though he's got that layer. I wouldn't be surprised to see an attempt at a third, but I just don't think he can stabilize enough right now with these Zergling counterattacks being done by Bum.
It should be said that Bum is caught up in workers, but I feel like, you know, 11 more
about to pop.
For Monster. Monster's going to maintain a very slight economic lead, and there's the Spire. Spire is going to go down, and we're going to see Mutas at some point coming up. He's going to start stockpiling that gas. It's going to be 2 base Mutaplate, and a lot of this is going to depend on how much Bum sees and anticipates this is coming, because he's got a third coming down right now. He's committed to expanding, and you know, he's got to scout. He's got to scout and see it. We got double evos, so he's going to be able to build the the spores, to combat that. But if he doesn't know it's coming, I just don't know. Now, he could always build a shit ton of roaches and just counterattack and just counter the fact that the mutas won't have enough DPS. But you know, I don't know.
Both of these thirds are coming up at almost exactly the same time. It's very interesting to see that these Zergs mine work in similar fashion in terms of like the hatchery timings and everything. It's just the differential in tech now. The Spire is about to finish. Overseer finishing as well for Bum. So if he can sneak that into the base, he'll be able to catch that Spire. We'll keep an eye on this Overseer and see what he sees.
Should we see that Bum has already has now taken a worker lead, so Bum actually has an economic advantage. But a lot of that's because I feel like Monster saved up larva and minerals purposefully for these mutas. He's gonna have 10 mutas
in production. This is going to be absolutely devastating. If
spores. Something happened. Did he see something? Because
it could have just been based on the timing. Here comes the Overseer.
Two spores, and then
if he's stream cheating.
Oh no, he sees the mutas there, but even then, you know, one.
I wonder if it was just a hunch. It's only one spore.
He would have done that a lot earlier.
Right, and he's only got 1 spore per mineral line, so he
all these overlords, massive supply block. Is he gonna get any more? He'll probably get at least 1 more. But that's not going to be enough to justify the mutas by itself. He's got to do some kind of mineral, like a worker damage, because look, 7 more roaches on the way. We have a spore going down to the third, so there's going to be a spore everywhere trying to combat these mutas.
Now, this is what, 10 meters if I'm not mistaken? 10 meters will definitely be able to hold off against that single spore. Bum really needs some more anti-air at this third base if he expects to be able to hold it. Here comes the push.
With the mutas, he's got 2 queens here too, though. A spore not in range, the queen is gonna...
They're sniping the banelings for the Zergling counterattack. What a good play.
No, the Zergling's gonna be here. He's gotta probably try to grab these, yeah, those...
Here come the roaches.
Bane's not gonna be able to actually hit these Zerglings, but the attack thrown off a little bit. But Monster's still not in a bad spot. But he lost a lot of the mutas. He lost 4 mutas in that engagement, and he didn't really get a lot of workers for it. I feel like, and these mutas are not gonna be great against the roaches. But if he has no anti-air, I feel like if Bum just A-move these roaches to the third, what was gonna happen?
Right.
Actually happen.
And now another attempt at sniping the third.
Lose the third. I feel like the third is not really... Well, actually, no. I was jumping the gun way too much on that one.
Now, here's what's interesting. The third is completely unable to mine at it. If you take a look over at Monster's base, he's got almost full saturation at his third and his main and his natural. So, very, very quickly, that drone advantage that Bum had earlier is going to fall to the wayside as the saturation kicks in for that third base.
And we have a lot of mutas in the main looking for some kind of halt, and he finds a jackpot of overlords. Not interested in those. Obviously wants to get the queens, wants to get the larva. Nice transfuse. 2 transfuses in a row. Going to pull back into the spore crawlers. Nice play.
Those evolution chambers are pretty vulnerable. I'm surprised that he's not making a play against those, but I guess he's got drones on his mind.
Hydra's on the way too. He's gonna. Oh, is he gonna snipe the Hydra den? It's gonna be so huge. He's gonna get the Hydra den before the Hydra range upgrade is finished. There's no way he can save this. There's no clicking the way to transfuse. It's going to die. It's so close to getting upgrade. No.
There it goes.
Oh, that's going to be a big deal because this Hydra's going to be so much less effective. He's committed to these Hydras. And, he's going to snipe a few. No way to remake those at the moment. And more lanes going to run in. No way lanes can do any damage. Bum, with a monster supply lead, I feel like his answer has to be to attack. There's not a lot
no other choice. If he attacks right now, he still has a tech advantage on the ground, and Fester's about to start popping out. Hydra's about to start popping out for Monster. He needs to try to make this attack happen. He needs to try to make it successful, and he needs to do a lot of damage to stay in this game.
The one thing to remember is that he's about to have 2 roaches on the ground, and +1 armor is still being researched by his Zerg opponent. +2 attack is way far away. He still has Hydras. They're just not going to be as effective without that range upgrade. But we have these mutas. They're searching for something to do. Somehow he's actually lost some of these while we weren't paying attention, I think. But he's going to scout this attack, but honestly, the mutas don't have the DPS to deal with all of these roaches, and
Monster does have, he is caught back up in supplies. Like I said, that third base being fully saturated, Monster is able to go ahead and max. So I don't think Bum is going to be successful.
At the third of Bum.
What? We can see, this is some massive play here. As soon as that move out happens, get your quickest unit and run them right into the third.
The concave on the top of the ramp for Monster was sick. Just roaches being remade. Did he even rebuild that Hydra den?
I don't believe so. I don't think he really
he knows the situation. He wants to end this game. He wants to come in here, do Monster Stamp, or at least he wants to kill the space or A base. He wants to do something. But honestly, I don't know that he'll be able to get the angle. Plus, to attack is coming pretty soon, and then the armor upgrade is not. The armor upgrades are not as important. Lots of roaches waiting for the reinforcements. This is going to be a maxed army to maxed army. We have another attack. The Muta is going to take this third out. That third is going to be like, it's going to tell Bum, this is it. It's all or nothing.
Bum making the move out at the third now.
Rounds. He's got a 6 surround.
Very, very good surround here.
It's so weird, but I feel like Monster's going to get the better end of it. No, he's going to move up. So many Hydras DPSing down, and there's a lot of roaches still left to tank for Monster. And yes, not going to be enough. He's got to run back, and the third is dead for Monster. The army is dead for Monster. He just has roaches left. Roaches and Hydras for Monster, just marching their way, the victory march, all the way from one of the day.
Those Hydras having such high DPS with those Roaches just tanking all of the other Roach damage. GG from Thumb, and that'll be the game.
You know, really, really entertaining ZVZ game, and that's nothing that I would say very often.
So that was quite the good game.
It was nice. It was a very nice Muta play that really, sealed the deal for Monster. Really, no more.